greetings, whether it's morning, afternoon, or night, to all of you. And I know some of you, especially my guest here today, it is night, very late at night. It's very exciting for me to be able to bring around our first, and we can even say safely only, Next-Gen Scholar for GUE. And nobody will ever be able to outdo you, of course. But it's a pleasure to see you. You're coming from Tahiti at midnight, right?
Yes, we've just finished a trip, so we came into port yesterday, and so yeah, fingers crossed the internet connection holds. But yes, it's midnight over here, but it's been an amazing trip.
Well, that's amazing. Well, thanks so much for being willing to come and talk to us late at night. So it's great to see you again. Very exciting. Despite all of the challenges, you really seem to make the best you could of the Next-Gen Scholarship. We've extended it a couple times due to COVID. And for those of you that don't know, GUE organized our first, and now it will be a sequential annual offering of a Next-Gen Scholar that we try to sponsor a young and upcoming star in the aquatic world, as Annika is. And we try to sponsor them with some travel money and some training. And we're here to talk a little bit about your experiences and how that went for you. So we'd love to hear about it. They're here to listen to what you have to say. So tell us about the experience since you got started and what you're up to nowadays.
Awesome. Thanks, Jarrod. Yeah, I mean, for me, it was a bit of a whirlwind. Like when I found out I was the scholar, I think within the space of a couple of weeks, I found out I was going to Florida for the GUE conference. And it seems like almost a lifetime ago. And I I hadn't been to America before, so that in itself was pretty amazing. And to arrive at the conference and see so many people I'd only read about, to meet them in person was a huge honor, and it was very exciting. It was an amazing week, getting to know everyone and just kind of seeing the behind the scenes work and meeting everyone in the team and getting a really good understanding of GUE. And then I got to do Rec 3 as kind of like I guess a starter. We wanted to do it just so I could also, I guess, work on my skills and get everything up to scratch before I headed off overseas. And so it was really nice also doing a course that I didn't previously know anything about. And so I did the Recreational 3 course, which was great because it was kind of learning a little bit about trimix, but just kind of also fine tuning. And then I'm pretty sure like a week out, all ready to pack my bags to come say hello before everything just got put on hold.
The dreaded pandemic. Yeah. we were going great guns. You know, I remember actually for the conference we had not originally even intended to bring you, and then we just realized how crazy was that not to take this amazing opportunity for you to meet the GUE community. And I think I'm really happy we did, because you got along so well with all of them, and you validated the genius of our selection by socializing with everybody and letting them to see, you know, the budding future next-gen capable person that you are. So that was a great experience. And what about the Rec 3? Where did you do that again? It's been so many years now, I can't remember.
So I did that in New Zealand up at the Poor Knights Islands with Jamie.
That's right.
And okay, so that was really good, just to kind of get a taste for it. And then I guess, yeah, fast forward till now, I actually just finished my Tech 1, which has been a long time coming. I've been wanting to do this course for 6 years. And so to finally do it, it was a very, an amazing moment on the boat when I came up from my first
it's almost scary for me to ask this, but it was, so that would have been like 2019 conference, right? It was the end of 2019, the GUE conference. And everybody, I had just tremendous enthusiasm for the year that was to come. And then that pesky little virus decided to realign all of our lives in 2020. And it took that much longer for you to move from then, 2020, all the way into 2022, where you were able to finally now finish your Tech 1 program. I'm glad we were able to extend it a couple times. It didn't seem fair to let you spend your whole year of Next-Gen Scholar time locked away for COVID. I mean, many people had a really rough time for COVID, so I think many of us are fortunate and grateful, but still it didn't seem fair to spend all of that travel money going nowhere and all of that training, free training, also not going anywhere. So Rec 3 and then Tech 1, which you just finished, how was that course?
That was, yeah, amazing. It was everything I thought it would be and so much more. And I guess part of the reason why I've always wanted to do this is some of the dives I was doing, I could see kind of the reefs extending out below me, or I could see wrecks that were a lot deeper. And had always been on my mind what kind of the next steps would look like. So to be able to go through that, and then especially doing it also at the pool nights where I had known all of the dive sites but above 30 meters, to now finally go and discover what was below 30 meters here was really special.
Awesome.
And to say that the new dive sites that I hadn't been to, it just opened up a whole new world, which was really good.
The depth sitting tantalizingly below, which is sort of similar with cave diving. You look at the next corner, and here with ocean diving, where you're looking at the depths below. Now you know what is in the depth below, but there's more depth still, right?
There is.
So have you started thinking about Tech 2 yet?
Yeah, I definitely want to get a few Tech 1 dives under my belt.
Well, you need more than a few. How many do you need?
25.
At least 25. All right. See, this is a little bit of a standards test as well to evaluate that you have that part down. What was your favorite part about the Tech 1 class?
My favorite part actually was all the drills and seeing, or not so much the drills, going through the failures. There was one point that we were going along, and one of us, our mask, we lost our mask, so we're switching over, and then one of us was out of air at the same time, so I was trying to get my buddy's alternate, like his regulator out, and like as we're switching over, and at the same time our line ended up getting like mixed around our feet, as well as then Jamie coming along with handfuls of silt and putting it on top of us. And so
okay, this sounds like abuse.
No, it was really nice because it was actually awesome to see how far I had
really
come.
Nice.
Yeah. And I got to the surface actually just in fits of laughter, and I realized that even with everything going on, I was in a really comfortable state, and I think that also gave me the confidence to be like, I've progressed so much from when I first started, and I was ready to kind of take on these dives. So no, it was good. Overall, it was a great experience.
Okay, I don't know if I should talk to Jamie about the fistfuls of silt or not, but obviously the point being to get you comfortable with that additional stress and elevating unusual levels of stress in other areas. So that's great. And now you've got a good opportunity as well to start to do some research and some documentation, some baseline kind of measurements at deeper depths, which is pretty critical since I guess as you could tell us, the research that's done in the deeper water is fairly limited, yeah?
Yeah, definitely. And that's almost stemmed into kind of the work that I'm doing now, looking at those deeper areas and the research that can be done.
I was trying to give you a slow softball. So tell us, what are you doing now, Annika?
So also in the last couple of years, I was able to actually, I was doing some work in New Zealand with a fleet of super yachts that I've been able to now, I guess, turn into my job, working with them to use these vessels as platforms to help projects around the world. And some of the capabilities that we have on board do allow us to go to deeper depths. And we are in the process of creating this organization that should be going live sometime this year. But the idea is to be able to support different projects around exploration, around science, and looking at the different research areas that need that support and being able to help out there. So it's kind of like watch this space, because if you look at it, if you look up anything at the moment, you won't see anything online, but we're hoping by the end of this year you'll see it up and running.
Can you tell our audience what the name of this new organization is going to be, or is that still a secret?
No, it's not a secret. We're called Inkfish, and the idea was cephalopods can be found in any ocean and pretty much at any depth. We like the idea of the unknown and sea monsters. And so we wanted a name that was easy to spell. So we didn't have a sea monster name that was hard to spell, but it was also something of kind of the mystery, not sure what we're going to find, and kind of have many tentacles that are covering a lot of different areas that we want to explore. So yeah,
that's pretty exciting.
Watch out for Inkfish.
I will be watching out left and right for Inkfish. So tell us a little. This is going to be a global effort? So you partnering up with an organization that is taking use of the donation, presumably by people with large boats who are allowing their vehicles to be used for this kind of research, and that will change. So the yacht that's used will rotate, presumably.
It depends on the project itself. So there's 4 vessels that, depending on the area that we're working in, We're classifying shallow water between 0 and 1,000 meters, and that is the limitations of the submersibles to 1,000.
So you better get busy with Tech 5 then, I think, right?
Yeah. And then we also have a deep water program that we're setting up that will be full ocean depth. So we're working kind of across all depths of the ocean, from the very top layer, and we're hoping to do diving that kind of goes into then submersibles that goes down to the bottom to full ocean depth.
How many of these yachts, do they all have submersibles?
3 of the 4 do, yes.
Are you back? Are we back?
I think we're back.
All right, we're back and bad. Okay, I was trying to ask, sorry folks for the technical difficulties. I guess you can't do anything along these lines without some hiccups. So I was asking you, we said that there were 3 of the 4 ships had subs, and I was asking what type of sub you had on board, do you know?
Yeah, so 3 of the 4 vessels have submersibles, 2 of them being Triton, one going down to 1,000 meters, one looking at full ocean depth, and then the other one is a U-boat. And so U-boat works. So yeah, we're just working out now kind of, I guess, the capabilities, where the strengths are, and what we can offer to different organizations.
That's exciting to see more and more people dedicating some resources. I know Seakeepers was sort of one of the early ones to organize a lot of these boats that are traveling the world anyway, and really getting a full-on regular documentation. And it's really exciting to see you kind of spearheading the next phase of that utilization. So what kind of crew do you have on board for the research you're planning?
So we actually have got a trip in May that we're looking at bringing in people from around the world, kind of combination of scientists working in different areas, and we're looking at different, I guess, the areas that need the support the most, and kind of create a 5-year itinerary of the hot spots that we want to go to, and what that would look like as a program.
And these would be areas that are under the most stress from your perspective, or any other metrics, or are those still in development as well?
Part of that's still in the development. We're hoping that we can really clarify them in May, but some of it's not so much just ones that are in stress, but areas that haven't had much research. So especially the mesophotic area, we've been looking at quite a lot, and areas that I guess people don't know, the information isn't there, and if we have the resources to be able to get to the places that no one has been before, definitely that's kind of a track that we're looking down, and then that information, making sure it's open sourced and readily available for everyone, is another kind of key priority for us. But more of the defined metrics won't be until May, when we sit around the table. As you know, in COVID, a lot of it's been online, so we're excited to actually have everyone come in to French Polynesia and actually have some really good discussions.
Yeah, I haven't seen very many people in person these days, so it's better than nothing, I suppose. So that's pretty exciting. How many people are going to be involved from a staff perspective? So you're with a group of how many peers?
Well, at the moment, it's just me.
A staff of one.
Inkfish.
And are you the supervisor?
A little bit, but I am working with all of the crew that are on the vessels, working closely with the captains and everyone that is doing the logistics. And then we're looking at setting up shoreside support. So any of the research or any of the science that's coming out, we will then have the ability to be able to process it and really make sure that none of that work kind of just sits there. We want to make sure that it's getting out into the public. So we're that structure itself will also, I'm hoping, be defined a little bit more in May, and working out kind of the areas that I need for support. But at the moment,
May is only like 10 days away, right? So
yeah, I know.
Fortunately, there's a few days in May. So are you likely to be having any divers aboard, or is it mostly instruments and subs? How are you guys handling that, or how do you anticipate handling that?
I'm anticipating a combination between the two. At the moment, there's there's an awesome dive program, which is how I was introduced to the vessels a couple of years ago. So I'm hoping that will continue alongside, and so we have the benefit of both, and kind of have simultaneous operations going in an area where you can cover a massive area, kind of from very, very shallow water, and get kind of everyone involved right down to the deeper depths.
All right, that's pretty exciting. And the different areas of the world, you still don't know because you're still mapping that out.
Yeah, so at the moment we are currently based kind of around the Pacific. We've just come up from New Zealand, and so we're going to see, I guess that will be more finely tuned over the next couple of months.
All right, well, if you need any dive buddies, I'm sure that I'm here, and I'm sure that there are quite a few people listening. Why don't you acquaint briefly, before I let you go, why don't you acquaint our audience with your background a bit as well? So, when we found you, you were teaching school children about the aquatic environment. So what is your background, and where has that taken you, and how did you get here?
So I studied a Master's of Architecture, which a lot of people are always surprised about when I say that. And I really liked the course because it gave you, I guess, a different approach, or you thought outside the box to, I guess, fix any problems. Or if you have a problem, you kind of were looking at how you could get the right people together to sort it out. And so part of my thesis actually was looking at how you can use design to get people to understand, and I guess a different way of learning is actually experience, and that led into the teaching students through VR about our oceans. And that over the 2.5 years, we were able to teach 40,000 students across the North Island. And I was able to grow our team of 2 to 5, and became head of programs actually for the discovery part at the non-for-profit I was working at. So it was also really nice about middle of last year to get the program to that point where I feel like I had pushed it as far as I could, and I'm really excited now to see where that program is going. And so they're still teaching in schools, and they're looking at kind of what's the next steps to make sure they keep ahead of the game, not in just technology, but the best way of teaching people about the ocean that haven't had the opportunity to go diving. And so my formal experience or formal training was in architecture, but then alongside that I did a lot of volunteering and a lot of work experience just around different diving projects, working in the diving industry and in the marine kind of marine conservation world. So I guess a combination of that all put together has got
that's
me.
perfect, and it could be an inspiration to people, because we're not limiting people based on previous degree. We're just looking for up and coming people who are trying to positively impact their world. We were very attracted to your sort of exponential or additive benefit by working with young kids as well, which I think it's clearly those of us who are getting older didn't do a very good job. So the next generation is truly our hope. So that's great stuff. We have a few questions that I want to get you and I both to answer. But before we segue to those in just 2 seconds here, I want to know: are you going to miss all those kids?
I still do. I do really miss them.
Because that was quite a lot of kids. Do they write? Do you get emails from any of them?
We got cards, and we had people like making videos and still staying in contact. And some of the ones that we did after the VR program, we did more intensive work where we got to take them out and took them snorkeling and surfing, and really built really good friendships. I'm still in contact with them, and you see them, what they're up to, which is really nice following their journeys as well.
That's cool. They're your little next-gen scholars, so you'll have to keep an eye on them and see how they do. Maybe you can point them our way in a few years, right? So let's answer a couple questions here. We have a question regarding the recommendation letters. How many min-max should you attach to the application? So we should ask a successful scholar, because we don't really have an established min-max, as I remember, bearing in mind that we did all of these guidelines back in 2019. So I guess I need to brush up a little bit. But how many recommendation letters did you send in?
I'm now trying to think of what I sent through in 2019.
So long ago, right?
I do remember asking out to my GUE instructor, Jamie, to see if he would be able to write a letter for me. And actually, I talked to him first before applying and seeing what his thoughts were and whether I should go for it or not. So, Jamie, if you're watching, thanks for telling me that I should apply.
Thanks for pushing it along.
Yeah, and then I had recommendation letters from previous people, and so I think I just reached out to the ones that I thought were best suited for this application. And in terms of minimum max, I was going to say I should have a look at the site of what it is now.
Right? I would say minimum. I'd say minimum is 1.
Yeah.
And then I wouldn't say there's necessarily a max, but really looking for just a spectrum of the kinds of work that you have done or are doing, are interested in doing. So just looking for some kind of representation. As I remember, you actually had one of your program directors or someone that you worked in through some of the scholastic training you were doing, wrote a very nice letter. Jamie wrote a really nice letter. I think 2 to 5 kind of range would be perfectly adequate if it represents the scope of what you're trying to accomplish for those of you looking to sign up. And we appreciate the question, and we're excited to get your application. How much time do we need? This is really much better for you. We tried not to be too demanding. So were we? How much time did you need from your perspective to people? It's not a full-time job, for sure. So what do you think? You okay, Annika?
Yep. Yeah, no, we're good. We're back. I think this is a really good question of like how much you want to throw into it. I mean, for me, the articles, I take a while to write. So it took me normally a day to write it and then probably a day to edit it with a couple of people. And then the videos, me and Nico kind of had like, where I sent him videos and he'd help me edit it. And then some of them I would edit myself if I had the time. Sometimes if work wasn't as busy, I'd throw more into it. And then other times it would be like just a couple of hours here and there, just trying to respond to people's questions. That was something that I wasn't expecting. But the amount of, I guess, just messages, the very lovely messages I've had over the last couple of years, responding to them, and I guess keeping that personal relationship with people, making sure that they like find it easy to contact you and talk to you and ask any question and being able to respond. So
we should say that anybody with any questions should write to you. I'm just having fun.
Thanks, Jarrod. Yeah, I know. But no, definitely.
No, in all seriousness, I think that it shouldn't be a full-time commitment by any stretch. We're just looking for a nice representation of the activity you're doing. We're looking to promote preservation of the aquatic environment. So the kinds of videos and experiences and development that are educational or conservation related are very welcome. We try not to be too exhaustively demanding, and it seems like you managed, so it wasn't too impossible.
No.
So maybe if we just try to finalize this answer, we'd say, how many hours a month did you end up roughly dedicating? A few hours a month?
I would say maybe, half a day to a day, depending if I had a course, it was a bit more than that. But half a day, which you could spread over afternoons, or I would normally just try to do it in one day on my weekend, or yeah.
So not too overwhelming then, I think we can say. So I think we've got that. Did you have any issues with that? You had a kind of local instructor, so it wasn't so bad in your case.
No, it was, I think it was more just trying to leave New Zealand. So New Zealand's borders only just opened a month ago for me to be able to even come home. Hence why I'm now able to travel. So that actually was more difficult. was actually trying to do courses where I couldn't leave the country. So I was really wanting to do Cave 1, and I still will do Cave 1, but it was just something that I couldn't do in New Zealand. We don't have any caves that are to the top. So yeah, New Zealand, we've got a really good GUE community, and we've got well, hopefully some more GUE instructors coming through. But for me, I was able to do the more, I guess, Tech 1 side. But in terms of being able to do any cave direction or rebreather direction, I'm hoping to still be able to do that. But I did find that I had to do those courses outside of New Zealand. So
yeah,
fingers crossed that will be coming up soon.
Aren't you still organizing a cave class with Kuro?
Yeah, hopefully. I'm not sure what the dates are looking like. Part of it is making sure I'm going in the right months and making the most of it, but also making sure it fits in with his schedule as well. So hopefully sometime soon I'll be able to.
Well, if you need any help, I can try to apply the screws a little bit more, because I really like to see you get through your cave training as well to give you a little bit more broad diversity of experience. And Charlie, and those of you who are curious about this, yeah, it's not critical that you have a local GUE instructor. It could be useful, obviously. But we will work with you to help you travel to locations, or even work to bring an instructor to you. We'd probably try to just organize a local class and try to help. So we'll do everything we can for whoever the winner is to make things as convenient as possible and let them leverage the benefit all around. So thanks for that question, Charlie. And then from Laura, your project is very inspiring. Structured style to be followed in responding to the essay questions, creative storytelling allowed or desired. To decide who should answer this question. What do you think, as our first ever NextGen Scholar? What should we do with this?
Well, I know when I came to the question of answering my 1,000-word essay, I ended up highlighting the questions that you had asked, and then when I was writing my response to it, it was actually a lot longer than 1,000 words to begin with, and I highlighted it depending on which question it was answering. And so then when I stood back, I could see kind of the parts that I had written a lot about, and made sure that I'd covered all my bases. And then on top of that, added like a little bit of creative storytelling, more from my background, to hopefully share a little bit of who I was. So when you were reading it, you knew kind of where I was coming from. So it wasn't just like bullet points of I've done this. I tried to link it in together. But I think the best thing for me was identifying the questions that were asked, highlighting in my response what they were answering, and making sure that you've actually covered all those points. I think was really good.
I think that's great advice, and we certainly will allow for creative storytelling as long as we can also understand, kind of what your goals and aspirations are throughout. So let's not, we don't want to get too Faulkner-like or too much fiction, but for sure have some fun and give us something creative. We'd love that. Josh thinks that you're amazing. I agree with him. I mean, I think that Josh calls it. We were enthralled with the work that you were doing. And now we're really excited to see that your work that you're developing. So we're very happy to be part of that. And as I've told you before, now I can say formally, so you'll have it on record and even recorded, that we look forward to working with you many years to come. And if GUE can be of an asset for any of the conservation, education, or remote work or local work you're doing, please let us know. We have teams of people excited to make a difference in the world. So we certainly like to do that.
No, me too.
Let's see. I don't know if it's Niles or Nils, but I apologize if I've messed that. But we're happy to join you, and very much appreciate you being here. So minimum requirement for in terms of diving experience, is there a maximum in terms of courses already taken? No, there isn't actually. So we're pretty much happy to help you find a course that's relevant for you based on your existing experience. There could be some issues with prerequisites. So if you've done, let's say, training with another agency to a high level, and then you're trying to do a high level GUE course, there could be some compatibility issues that would require us to adjust for that. So I'm not sure necessarily the nature of the course, or the question, I'm sorry, but we're certainly very happy to try to accommodate anybody at any level. So it could be anything from sort of rebreather to science scientific diver to technical training. So there's no sort of limit on the types of courses that are included in that. It could also be a non-diver, even from a theoretical perspective. So if you're not even a diver, but you're interested in the aquatic environment, we welcome that as well. So try to keep it wide open. Thanks for that question, Niles. What do you think? Is that Nils or Niles?
I think Niles.
Niles?
I'm not very good with names. I'm much better with faces.
What's my name?
I know that one, Jarrod. I do know that one. After our interview,
you even pronounced it correctly. Okay, excellent. All right, we're going to go with Niles. We hope you answered your question. Thanks very much. Show some love and give this video a thumbs up. Okay, I thought it was me. I thought it was GUE talking to me. We're like, what? I'm not showing proper respect here. We would appreciate a thumbs up on the video if you've enjoyed it, or you appreciate the great work that Annika is doing. You know, if you don't appreciate it, tell us what we should do differently, because she's building it. I mean, in May is going to be the whole schedule, right? So all we have to do is tell you what we think you should do, and that will we have the chance to affect the resources deployed for in the furtherance of conservation going forward. I like that. Excellent. Well, I don't see any more questions coming in. Is there anything else you want to say to the audience?
Oh, I would say probably the best advice I was given was get someone else to read the application, and the video as well. Get another thought, because you can get so wrapped up in it. It's really good to have someone from an outside perspective come in, read it for the first time, and they'll pick up things, because you don't want that to be Jarrod reading through it going, oh, that doesn't make sense, or you completely misspelt that word.
That is bad. And I'm going to come to Laura's question in a second. Thanks for that, Laura. I think anytime you can't really edit your own work productively, no matter how good a writer you are, you definitely need that outside voice. I do remember, actually, just for our audience, when we announced the scholarship with you, we had some fun with you, actually. And who was it? We had I think one of our people here, I think Nagar, actually was coordinating with you, asking you some basic questions, and just said she needed to do a meeting with you to ask a few more questions. And that was the one, actually, where I came on to say hello and announce to everyone, including you, that you are our NextGen Scholar. And your look and your reaction was priceless, always bubbling with enthusiasm and joy. So that actually brings back some fond memories so many years ago now. So the limit, of course, is during the scholarship. As many as you can logistically manage, Laura. There are many hurdles to that, of course, because sometimes you might have to travel. Our courses require an experience component between levels. So that means that when you do a course like Tech 1, which Annika just finished, or Cave 1 class or something like that, then you have this experience that you have to gain in between, which is a minimum of 25 dives. Can be more, but it's a minimum requirement for you to gain some experience before moving to the next level. You can obviously do more programs of the initial level, like you could do a Cave 1 and a Tech 1 pretty close together, fairly more or less back to back. And then other programs also will depend on getting up to the level of comfort and skill. Sometimes that requires more than 25 dives in order to make a good run at a class. Some of the classes can be a bit challenging, but there is no artificial limit imposed. We really try to give everybody as much license to train and learn as possible. And I would say that this is really only possible through the generous donation of our many global instructors. They really heartily embraced this initiative. GUE donates some cash and waives a number of fees and tries to support with logistics. But overwhelmingly, a big part of that, part of this offering is the training. And our instructors have been just tremendously generous and very warm and welcoming to the idea of trying to help to support future and aspiring divers, people that, for whatever collection of reasons, need some additional support. So you met a few of those instructors along the way. Did you find any you didn't like?
Not yet, no. I seem to have loved everyone I've met.
All right. Well, I'm happy to hear that. You can give me behind the notes, behind the scenes notes later. We might have to talk about any standards issues or anything like that you experience. So after we break the live stream, we can talk about that. All right, let's see. We just popped in one last question here before I let you go. Oh, no, it's not a question. If you're new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button now. We'd love to have you stick around and see some more engaging content we have developed. We have actually a nice event next month here in Dubai. I don't know, maybe we could get you to come. Well, we tried to arrange that. We couldn't get it coordinated, could we?
My dates are just a little bit later.
Just a little different. We're about to launch our, we're doing a couple programs for our Project Diver curriculum. So this is a curriculum specifically dedicated to helping people do the kinds of things that you're starting to build now without the super yachts. Not including super yachts, but we're really building this program to help communities build ongoing, sustainable, and scientifically credible projects. So we've got a great lineup in Dubai. The next one is coming in May 14 to 18, and then also later this year at the GUE conference in October, we'll run the second level of that. And this program has a core module that's at more academic base, that's open to everybody, that's GUE fundamentals or greater. And then you would move on and focus on an apprentice project, which is at the higher level. The first one we're focusing on is the level 3 program. So that's really for budding explorers. Give me a chance to talk about that little quick pitch. The courses you do based on the registered instructors that give these are only registered GUE dive clubs. Yeah, the courses available are based on instructors who have committed to offering these programs, but that's really a big chunk of our instructor core. And many I've found in cases where people just didn't register on the front end, if we ask them to support with a good cause like this, that they usually will, and we'll do everything we can to make sure that it's practical for people to do. But the support among the instructor core was almost unanimous. So I have a feeling if you've got an instructor near you, we can find a way to arrange the course that you're looking to pursue. Some of the classes which have smaller numbers of instructors due to the really high level capacity required, there may be fewer instructors, so that may be hard to get in a local region, but that's what the travel budget and a little bit of creative economics is all about, right? Did you get good at that so far?
Getting there.
But now you have a whole fleet of super yachts. So actually, this is what we needed to do, is wait and launch this program now, right? So then you could just say, oh, could you go over to Florida? I need to see some cave diving, and then Sardinia for my experience dives, and then we'll do some research along the way, right?
Probably yeah, it's definitely opened up a lot more opportunities than I was ever expecting.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's great stuff. It's very nice to hear. Okay, folks. Well, I think that it's almost 1 o'clock in the morning your time, Annika. So I mean, we really appreciate you staying up to talk to our audience. It was wonderful for me to see you as well. I hope to see you in person sometime soon. I'm sorry we can't make you for next month's event, but maybe at some point in Florida. Again, if you need some help with that cave program, let me know, and I'll put some extra juice into the equation. Thanks so much for the audience. Thanks. We really appreciate all of you tuning in, and appreciate your positive comments. Annika's been a tremendous scholar. We're really proud to have her associated with our effort. It's been a joy to know you, as I've told you before, but I'm not going to let you go easily. So just like the little kids that you've been training, I'm going to be constantly harassing you, and you'll come back to All right. How about that? I mean, they cut us out just as I'm trying to say goodbye. So I wanted to give you the last word before I say my final goodbyes. You say to all your adoring fans, anything you want to say to everybody?
Just to say a massive thank you to everyone, everyone that's tuned in today, but also followed my journey in the last couple of years. And I'm excited to show you guys what's next. And I'm really excited to continue working with GUE and hopefully being able to also give back to the scholarship as well as everyone that I've been able to work with. So thank you so much. And I'm looking forward to the day that we catch up in person again, Jarrod. That will be great.
Yeah, so I am looking forward to that as well. Very excited to see. It's great to see all the people that tuned in. Thanks for being such a great scholar. Thanks for your beautiful comment, Laura, and to the rest of you. We really appreciate you tuning in now. We appreciate your support, and we're looking forward to continuing to see Annika do amazing things. And we're excited now to move and pick another scholar. We'll have you involved in that, Annika. We're going to have you help pick. That'll be one of the projects that you get to join. So thanks to everybody. Annika, you get some sleep. It's getting late. So lovely to see you. Take care. Thanks again. Goodbye, all. Hope to see you again soon. Bye-bye.